You wake to the sound of marble cracking beneath the weight of golden statues, each one carved in the likeness of a man who believes himself divine. The year is 39 AD. You are a senator of Rome, standing in the shadow of the Palatine Hill. Before you, Emperor Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, known forever as Caligula, orders yet another execution. The crime? Insufficient worship. The air is thick with incense, perfume, and fear. Your colleagues whisper prayers under their breath, hoping their names will not be next. And at the center of this theater of terror, the 23-year-old emperor strokes the neck of his favorite horse, Incitatus, while casually deciding who among Rome's elite should die. This is the world of Caligula, Rome's most infamous ruler. But behind the rumors of debauchery and madness lies a deeper story. A boy once adored by soldiers, who rose with the hopes of an empire and descended into a reign of paranoia, cruelty, and divine delusion. Act number 1 is the rise of Little Boots. Born in 12 AD, Caligula was the beloved son of General Germanicus and Agrippina the Elder. As a child, he lived among the legions on the German frontier, where soldiers dressed him in tiny boots, calling him Caligula, Little Boots. The soldiers adored him. They saw in him the future of Rome. When he finally ascended the throne in 37 AD, Rome rejoiced. He freed prisoners, restored elections, and showered gifts on both the Praetorian Guard and ordinary citizens. For a moment, he looked like the emperor Rome had been waiting for. But something inside him began to change. Act number 2, illness, madness, and godhood. In 38 AD, Caligula fell gravely ill. For weeks, Rome feared he would die. When he recovered, his eyes carried a new fire. Servants whispered of his long conversations with invisible companions, his laughter echoing through empty halls. He was no longer merely emperor. He was becoming a god. Caligula ordered statues of himself to replace the gods in temples across the empire. He built shrines in his palace where he debated Jupiter, Venus, and Mars as if they sat before him. Guards claimed they heard voices answering him back. Where emperors before him had pretended to rule with divine favor, Caligula erased the line. He demanded worship, not respect. Obedience, not loyalty. Act number 3, power, desire, and humiliation. For Caligula, politics and desire blurred into one. Senators' wives were forced to undress in front of golden statues of the emperor. Banquets turned into theaters of humiliation, where husbands were made to watch as their wives became Caligula's playthings. He even flaunted incestuous relationships with his sisters, reserving his deepest devotion for Drusilla. When she died, he declared her a goddess, building temples in her honor, and whispering to her clothes and jewelry as though she could still hear him. Whispers spread that he delayed her burial for days, treating her corpse not as lifeless flesh, but as part of his divine union. Act number 4, blood, spectacle, and terror. The games of Rome Once grand displays of courage and honor became extensions of Caligula's twisted desires. He ordered aristocratic women into the arena, forced to fight gladiators while dressed in scraps of armor. He summoned fighters into his private box to duel for his pleasure, their blood mingling with his arousal. Executions became intimate rituals. Senators accused of treason were not simply killed. They were brought into his chambers, tortured, humiliated, and dispatched while the emperor mingled death with desire. Even his horse, Incitatus, was not spared from the theater. Caligula held ceremonies, weddings, and banquets in the animal's honor. He swore eternal devotion to the creature, whispering secrets in its ear that no human was allowed to hear. Last one is Act number 5, The Legacy of a Mad God. Caligula's reign lasted barely 4 years, yet his name still echoes as one of history's darkest warnings. Was he truly insane? Or was he simply the ultimate product of unchecked power, raised in violence, surrounded by cruelty, and given authority with no boundaries? What remains certain is this: Caligula turned the empire into his stage, its citizens into unwilling actors, and his madness into the script. He was not just remembered as a monster, but as a man. Proof that when power knows no limits, humanity itself begins to vanish.